CDL Class A HazMat Test 2026 Complete Practice Questions. Flashcard 1. There are three lists that drivers, shippers, and carriers use to find out if a material is regulated as hazardous. Which one of their choices is not one of those three lists? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. List of hazardous substances and reportable quantities. B. Poison inhalation list. C. Epidangerous materials list. D. Hazardous materials table. Correct answer: Epidangerous materials list. Flashcard 2. Drivers of placarded vehicles transporting hazardous materials must stop blank to blank feet from the nearest rail of a railroad. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 15 to 20 feet. B. 15 to 50 feet. C. 5 to 10 feet. D. 15 to 50 yards. Correct answer: 15 to 50 feet. Flashcard 3. How many identical placards is a vehicle hauling hazardous materials required to display, and where? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 1 on the rear of the vehicle only. B. 2 1 on the front and 1 on the back. C. 4 2 on the front and 2 on the back. D. 4 1 on the front, 1 on the back, and 1 on each side of the vehicle. Correct answer: 4 1 on the front, 1 on the back, and 1 on each side of the vehicle. Flashcard 4. How many different type placards are there showing bed specifications? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 31. B. 15. C. 17. D. 13. Correct answer: 31. Flashcard 5. At what time is it required for the driver to have an approved gas mask on hand? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Any vehicle carrying an inhalation hazard cargo. B. Any vehicle carrying chlorine. C. Any vehicle carrying toxic materials. D. All of the above. Correct answer: any vehicle carrying chlorine. Flashcard 6. What is the shape and size of a placard? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 10.3/4 inch oval. B. 10.1/2 inch diamond. C. 10.1/2 inch oval. D. 10.3/4 inch square or diamond. Correct answer: 10.3/4 inch square or diamond. Flashcard 7. It is recommended that when hauling a load of explosives A or B to use the fussies instead of the warning triangles if in an emergency or breakdown situation. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. True. B. False. Correct answer: false. Flashcard 8. Whenever your vehicle is placarded, do not drive near open fires unless you think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Can safely pass the fire without stopping. B. Have LTL of a non-flammable material. C. Are equipped with fire sprinklers. D. Unless you can stay 100-200 feet away from the fire. Correct answer: can safely pass the fire without stopping. Flashcard 9. If you are in an accident involving hazardous materials, you should think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Don't tell anything about your load. B. Keep all people far away and upwind of the accident. C. Prevent a panic by acting like nothing is wrong. D. Tell only the emergency response team about the hazard. Correct answer: keep all people far away and upwind of the accident. Flashcard 10. The hazardous waste manifest should be. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Stored in the glove compartment. B. Kept with the driver at all times. C. The same as all other paperwork. D. Tabbed differently and kept on top of all other paperwork. Correct answer: tabbed differently and kept on top of all other paperwork. Flashcard 11. If a materials class is the word forbidden, what kinds of materials are you still allowed to haul? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Any other hazardous material B. You can't haul a forbidden cargo C. Nothing D. Both B and C correct answer. Both B and C. Flashcard 12. The driver must also carry on his person at all times a dated certificate signed by the employer. This certificate must also be updated every. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 4 years B. 3 years C. 2 years D. 1 year's correct answer, 2 year. Flashcard 13. Cylinders containing compressed gases may only be loaded onto a vehicle without a flat floor or platform if the cylinders are. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. In boxes that will keep them from turning over B. Loaded into racks attached to the vehicle C. Loaded in an upright or horizontal position D. All on the above correct answer. All on the above. Flashcard 14. What type fire extinguisher is required in the power unit of a placarded vehicle? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. A UL rating of 15 ABCB. A UL rating of 5B/C or above C. A UL rating of 10B/C or above D. Any of the above are acceptable correct answer. A UL rating of 10B/C or above. Flashcard 15. Who is responsible for packaging, labeling, and preparing the hazardous material shipping papers for a common carrier? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Your spouse B. The shipper C. The carrier D. The driver correct answer, the shipper. Flashcard 16. If hazardous material is spilling from your vehicle, do not move your vehicle. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Any more than safety required B. In an upwind direction C. Any more than 450 feet D. Any more than 500 feet correct answer. Any more than safety required. Flashcard 17. Animals and human foodstuffs should not be loaded in the same vehicle with. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Flammable liquids B. Explosives C. Flammable gases D. Poisons correct answer, poisons. Flashcard 18. The transport index of a radioactive material. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Is another way of writing the weight of the package B. Is something that only the shipper needs to worry about C. Tells the degree of control needed during transportation D. None of the above. Correct answer tells the degree of control needed during transportation. Flashcard 19. Class A explosives must not be transported in a combination vehicle if the vehicle includes. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. A placarded cargo tank B. 2 or more trailers C. A 200-inch wheelbase trailer D. None of the above. Correct answer, a placarded cargo tank. Flashcard 20. Which of the following must drivers have in their possession while transporting Class A or B explosives? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. The carrier's insurance policy B. The written route plan C. Both of the above D. None of the above correct answer, the written route plan. Flashcard 21. Which of the following is the proper definition of a cargo tank? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. A bulk container not permanently attached to a vehicle B. A bulk container permanently attached to a vehicle C. Both choices A and B D. None of the above correct answer. A bulk container permanently attached to a vehicle. Flashcard 22. What placard must be used with an inhalation hazard load? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Flammable B. Dangerous C. Poison D. All of the above correct answer, poison. Flashcard 23. A safe haven is one place you can leave a vehicle unattended that is hauling explosives. What is the best description of a safe haven? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Any property that has been government approved for this use. B. Any property that is totally fenced in by an 8-foot-high fence and has a guard on duty all day long. C. Any property that is totally fenced in by an 8-foot-high fence. D. All of the above correct answer. Any property that has been government approved for this use. Flashcard 24. Which of the following is one of the 3 keys to identify which placard to use? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Materials hazard class B. Amount being shipped. C. Both A and B. D. Whether the cargo is a liquid or solid. Correct answer, both A and B. Flashcard 25. When is it necessary to ground the trailer? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Only when filling a trailer with explosives. B. When filling or unloading any flammable liquid tank. Ground must be maintained until filling hole is properly closed. C. Only when unloading a cargo tank filled with any flammable liquid. D. None of the above. Correct answer, when filling or unloading any flammable liquid tank. Ground must be maintained until filling hole is properly closed. Flashcard 26. You may not park a vehicle carrying hazardous materials within blank feet of an open fire. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 300. B. 200. C. 150. D. 100. Correct answer, 300. Flashcard 27. With most hazardous materials, you may park within 5 feet of the road briefly, if your work requires it. The materials that are the exception and do not allow parking this close to the road are. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Acids and poisons. B. Explosives. A and B. C. Liquids. D. Corrosives and oxidizers. Correct answer, explosives. A and B. Flashcard 28. What? You do not have a hazardous materials endorsement on your commercial driver license. When can you legally haul hazardous materials? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Never. B. Only when the shipment does not cross state lines. C. Only when the load is placarded. D. All of the above correct answer, never. Flashcard 29. The basic description of a hazardous material includes the hazard class, the ID number, and the proper shipping name. Which one must appear first on the shipping paper? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. The box number. B. The identification number. C. The hazard class. D. The proper shipping name. Correct answer, the proper shipping name. Flashcard 30. When fueling a placarded vehicle, someone must always be. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Within 10 feet of the pump with a fire extinguisher. B. At the emergency power shutoff for the pump. C. At the nozzle controlling the fuel flow. D. B. At the rearmost corner on the vehicle. Correct answer, at the nozzle controlling the fuel flow. Flashcard 31. A driver that hauls hazardous materials must attend training every. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 3 years. B. 2 years. C. 1 year. D. None of the above correct answer, 2 years. Flashcard 32. An A/W the first column of the hazardous materials table means. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. This material has no restrictions when shipped by air and or water. B. There is no restrictions with this material if shipped by water only. C. It is okay to ship this material by air only. D. This material is only restricted when shipped by air and or water. Correct answer, this material is only restricted when shipped by air and or water. Flashcard 33. How many different hazard classes are there? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 9. B. 23. C. 24. D. 19. Correct answer, 9. Flashcard 34. When a substance in the materials table is written in italics, it means. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. It is not the proper shipping name. Those in Roman type above it are B. It is a foreign substance. C. The substance is for international transport. D. It is the proper shipping name. Correct answer. It is not the proper shipping name. Those in Roman type above it are. Flashcard 35. Column 1 symbols that I means. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Iodine. B. International restrictions. C. International transportation. D. Invalid substance. Correct answer. International transportation. Flashcard 36. When hauling explosives 1.1 and 1.3, which placard do you use? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Explosives 1.3. B. Explosives 1.1. C. Dangerous. D. Both A and C. Correct answer. Explosives 1.1. Flashcard 37. When a spill occurs of an RQ substance, the carrier has within blank to report the spill. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 1 week. B. 2 weeks. C. 15 days. D. 60 days. Correct answer. 15 days. Flashcard 38. Column 1 symbols the plus sign means. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. The proper shipping name is in italics. B. The proper shipping name is invalid. C. The proper shipping name without regard whether the material meets the definition of that class. D. Do not use proper shipping name. Correct answer. The proper shipping name without regard whether the material meets the definition of that class. Flashcard 39. You have loaded a hazardous material into a cargo tank. What must you do before you move the vehicle? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Close all manholes and valves. Be sure they are free of leaks. B. Call Chemtrack by phone and tell them where you are going. C. Have the loading observers sign the shipping papers. D. Get started on your trip. Everything is okay. Correct answer. Close all manholes and valves. Be sure they are free of leaks. Flashcard 40. A properly prepared uniform hazardous waste manifest. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Must be signed and carried by anyone transporting a hazardous waste. B. Is required only if there is a loss of cargo during transport. C. Is the same as any other shipping paper. D. Is definitely useless form and is not required. Correct answer. Must be signed and carried by anyone transporting a hazardous waste. Flashcard 41. One of these shipping paper descriptions for a hazardous material is in the right order. Which one is it? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Hydrogen bromide, non-flammable gas, UN 1048. B. Corrosive material, hydrochloric acid, UN 1798. C. UN 1787, corrosive material, hydriodic acid. D. Hexane, UN 1208, flammable liquid. Correct answer, hydrogen bromide, non-flammable gas, UN 1048. Flashcard 42. A placard is required for a combustible liquid at? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 110 gallons. B. 100 gallons. C. More than 110 gallons. D. Any amount. Correct answer. More than 110 gallons. Flashcard 43. To find out if a shipment includes a hazardous material, you should think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Open and inspect every package and container. B. Look at the shipping papers. C. Check for a fence around the loading dock. D. Ask the driver. Correct answer. Look at the shipping papers. Flashcard 44. When there is a hazardous materials emergency, you should think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Prevent smoking and keep open flames away. B. Keep people away and warn them of the danger. C. Both A and B above. D. None of the above. Correct answer, both A and B above. Flashcard 45. Which signals may be used to warn of a stopped vehicle that contains explosives? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Flares or fuses. B. Reflective triangles. C. Signal fires. D. All of the above. Correct answer, reflective triangles. Flashcard 46. Column 1 symbols. The D sign means. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Devices. B. Detonators. C. Domestic transportation. D. Domestic restrictions. Correct answer, domestic transportation. Flashcard 47. A hazard class name or ID number may not be used to describe A. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Reportable quantity of a hazardous substance. B. Hazardous waste. C. Non-hazardous material. D. Chlorine. Correct answer, non-hazardous material. Flashcard 48. When hauling hazardous materials, you must stop your vehicle and check any dual tires at least once every blank, whichever is less. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 1 hour or 50 miles. B. 2 hours or 100 miles. C. 3 hours or 150 miles. D. None of the above. Correct answer, 2 hours or 100 miles. Flashcard 49. If there is an RQ before or after the item description on the shipping paper, it means the. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Material is in a package containing no other materials. B. Material has an insurance value of over $1,000. C. The shipper must report any spills of this material. D. Carrier must report any spill of this material. Correct answer, carrier must report any spill of this material. Flashcard 50. Carriers must give each driver who transports Class A or B explosives. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. A bottle of PEP pills. B. A copy of FMCSR Part 397C. An extra fire bottle. D. The consignee's phone number. Correct answer, a copy of FMCSR Part 397. Flashcard 51. A railroad crossing is ahead of you and you are hauling hazardous material. When you stop for the crossing, you can stop as far away as blank feet from the nearest rail. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 25. B. 50. C. 75. D. 85. Correct answer, 50. Flashcard 52. Who is responsible for safely transporting a hazardous material shipment without delay and keeping the shipping papers in the right place? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. The carrier. B. The passenger. C. The driver. D. The shipper. Correct answer, the driver. Flashcard 53. You find an overheated tire during an en route inspection. If you are hauling hazardous materials, you must think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Remove the tire and place it in the spare tire rack. B. Cool the tire, then check it every 2 hours. C. Wait at least 2 hours before continuing your trip. D. Remove the tire and place it a safe distance from the vehicle. Correct answer, remove the tire and place it a safe distance from the vehicle. Flashcard 54. The intent of hazardous materials regulations is to ensure safety, to contain the material, and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. To tax shippers correctly. B. To communicate the risk. C. To allow state enforcement. D. To allow ComStat to get involved. Correct answer, to communicate the risk. Flashcard 55. The total transport index of all radioactive material packages in a single vehicle must not exceed blank. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. 100B, 50C, 25D. 10 correct answer, 50. Flashcard 56. You are going to be hauling hazardous materials over a route you do not know well. When should you check the route and get the permits needed for the trip? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Within 24 hours of the finish of the trip. B. Within the first 50 miles of the trip. C. Before starting the trip. D. While you are still on a part of the route that you know. Correct answer, before starting the trip. Flashcard 57. Which 3 hazard classes should not be loaded into a trailer that has a heater/air conditioner unit? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Flammable liquids. B. Flammable gas. C. Explosives. D. All of the above. Correct answer, all of the above. Flashcard 58. What is the only exception to certification by a shipper? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. When the shipper is a private carrier of his own product. B. Only when the vehicle is placarded properly. C. When the shipper is too ill to fill out the proper paperwork. D. Only when the cargo is packed incorrectly. Correct answer, when the shipper is a private carrier of his own product. Flashcard 59. A truck carrying explosives has crashed with another vehicle. You should not pull them apart until. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. The shipper's loading foreman is present. B. At least 30 minutes have passed. C. The explosives have been placed at least 200 feet away from the vehicles and occupied buildings. D. At least 45 minutes have passed. Correct answer. The explosives have been placed at least 200 feet away from the vehicles and occupied buildings. Flashcard 60. When handling packages of explosives, you must think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Double wrap wet boxes in plastic to prevent staining. B. Never use hooks or other metal tools. C. Keep bystanders 100 feet away. D. All of the above. Correct answer, never use hooks or other metal tools. Flashcard 61. Which of the following choices is a hazard class you are not allowed to smoke around? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Oxidizers. B. Flammables. C. Explosives. D. All of the above. Correct answer, all of the above. Flashcard 62. Who is responsible for finding out what permits or special routes you will need to haul hazardous materials? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. The state governor. B. The driver. C. The shipper. D. The carrier. Correct answer, the driver. Flashcard 63. If an X or RQ is in the HM column of a shipping paper entry, think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Shipment is regulated by hazardous material regulations. B. Entry refers to the materials that must be top-loaded. C. Material listed on that line in the largest part of the shipment. D. Material listed on that line in the smallest part of the shipment. Correct answer. Shipment is regulated by hazardous material regulations. Flashcard 64. Which of the following, if required, must the shipper put on the package? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. The required label. B. The hazardous materials shipping name and identification number. C. The name and address of shipper or consignee. D. All of the above. Correct answer, all of the above. Flashcard 65. You are hauling hazardous materials and you find that one of your tires is leaking. You must think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Stop at the nearest safe place and fix it. B. Report it to your carrier immediately. C. Continue at reduced speed and check that tire every 25 miles. D. All of the above are true. Correct answer, stop at the nearest safe place and fix it. Flashcard 66. Shipping papers must always be kept in one place when driving with hazardous materials. Wear when wearing your seat belt. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. On the driver's seat at all times. B. Within reach at all times. C. In a pouch on the driver's door. D. Both B and C above. Correct answer. Both B and C above. Flashcards 67. A vehicle contains 500 pounds each of explosives A and B. You must use. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. Dangerous placards. B. Explosives A. Placards. C. Elasting agents. Placards. D. None of the above. Correct answer. Explosives A. Placards. Flashcards 68. Who is responsible for checking to be sure the shipper correctly named, labeled, and marked a hazardous materials shipment? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. The carrier. B. The driver. C. The shipper. D. The manufacturer. Correct answer. The carrier. Flashcard 69. The shipper's package hazardous materials. They must certify that this was done according to the regulations. The only exception is when. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is A. The driver is given a sealed cargo compartment. B. The shipment is a hazardous waste. C. The shipper is a private carrier carrying his or her own product. D. All of the above. Correct answer. The shipper is a private carrier carrying his or her own product.